half in the bag.
And we're back.
To talk more about movies and TV shows of 2020, man.
But in reality, we're filming this bit at the end after we've been talking for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And we're done.
And our brains no longer work.
So now, through the magic of editing, we'll cut back to 2.5 hours ago into the conversation.
Right, Jay, right. A Quiet Place 2.
This was a pandemic movie that kept getting delayed, right?
Yeah. Shot in 2019. It's supposed to be released in fucking April of 2020.
Something like that. It kept getting pushed back.
Are the theaters going to reopen? Then
they always talk about like the movies that's going to bring people back to the theater. It wasn't Christopher Nolan. It ended up being fucking Spider-Man, apparently. But this is one of those movies where it's like, this is a theatrical experience. We got to keep holding off until theaters reopen. And then you see it, and aside from the opening, which was awesome, it's the most uncinematic thing ever.
And it's the same movie as the first one.
It felt like 2 episodes of a TV show.
Yeah.
It was like Lost. Like, here's the episode where they try and find a boat. Here's the episode where they go to an island and find some other people. It was so, more of the same, but no real stakes or emotional connection the way the first one had. With the family unit and the dad and
John Krasinski died in the first one, so they replaced him with somebody else.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, and then the things come and then whatever, and then the ending was the same too.
Yeah,
so something where the little kids try to turn on a thing.
Yeah, they make noise and they stop the monsters again. The opening was pretty great though. It was like a flashback to the initial invasion, and it was really well shot. Lots of long takes and
yeah, sure.
I was like, hey, this is going to be pretty good. And then after that, it just feels like a boring episode of a TV show.
Yeah.
Not horrible by any means. Watchable, I guess, but...
It's better than getting tricked into watching some crap movie. That's like low budget crap.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, what was it? I sent you a text. I have that Voodoo or whatever.
Yeah.
Voodoo has all the movies here and there, and then they have that little thing that says in theaters.
Oh yeah, you sent me some animated thing.
No. It was. Hold on. Oh, Mega Boa. With
Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
And then it has a little in theaters thing, and that's one of them junk movies. No! Mega Boa.
It's like one of those Bruce Willis movies that they try and trick you.
Right.
It's a real movie. Bruce Willis is in it.
Right. Bruce Willis is in it for 5 minutes of screen time.
Yeah. And anytime it's the back of his head, it's a stand-in.
Yes, and he shows up for 2 days of filming and gets 90% of the budget.
Hi, Jack. With the girl?
Who is this?
But at least those movies don't say in theaters. This is new to me.
Yeah.
A complete junk movie that they're trying to say is in theaters, even though there's no way it is.
I'm wondering if they just put it in one theater to
just so they can say that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's a trick because I have a sharper eye for crap detection than maybe your average viewer, and I'm like, that's a junk movie. And the posters look all. You know what it is.
Oh yeah.
It's I don't know what's some of those trash Gravitas Ventures. Those trash companies.
Uncorked. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Uncorked Media or whatever.
Red Arrow.
Where they just put out anything.
Yeah. And it's like it's shot on. It looks like a decent camera, but it's probably an iPhone 12 or someone's home DSLR camera. And it looks like a real movie, sort of, but it looks kind of fake, and it looks junky, and there's no real stars in it, and it's crap. But I'm wondering if Megaboa did play in one theater, and that qualifies it to get the in theaters tag on it.
Maybe it played in Eric Roberts' home theater.
Well, let's segue. What are you doing? Let's late segue.
Okay.
From your elderly abuse video to a little film called Old.
Neil Breen's latest opus.
From the hotel! They're so rusted!
What's happening?
Found stuff from the hotel in the sand.
This is the movie that really solidified for me, because people always talk about M. Night Shyamalan. He had a couple decent movies recently with like Split, and The Visit was okay.
Yeah.
It seemed like he left his pretensions at the door. It's like, fuck it, I'm not gonna try and like prop these up as anything more than they are. They're silly little Twilight Zone movies. And I guess this old kind of falls into that category, but dialogue is so bad, even for M. Night. And this is the first time I've noticed it where it's like, it sounds like a Neil Breen movie.
The dog has died!
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It was only just alive.
Then we can be friends. You can come over to my house and make up stories. Then we can go to the same college together and become neighbors with mortgages.
Glad to have our personal lives to rely on. No secrets here.
You know I can't talk about my work. I can't reveal secrets.
If Neil Breen had a real budget and cast real actors and directed them, because that's the other thing, this movie has like professional actors in it, but it's like career worst performances by a lot of these people. And,
To me, it was more the performances and less the dialogue.
Okay, there's some weird ass dialogue in it.
Hi, I'm Trent. This is Idlet. What are your names and what do you do for a living?
I liked the movie a lot.
I liked it as it's kind of an unintentional comedy, but not completely. It's very weird. It kind of like doesn't fit in any category.
No, but it was. I think the premise wasn't his. It was based on a short story.
That or like a comic or something.
Yeah. It was, so that's the interesting part to me was the premise, which he didn't come up with. But the first half of the movie, I really kind of liked because I think I just liked those. That situation. I liked the premise, and I liked the idea of all these different characters. They're trapped on this beach, and there's a problem, and they slowly start to figure out what's going on. And every little thing, every little gimmick that you can do with people aging rapidly is done.
Sure.
And I guess decomposing rapidly too, right? Don't they turn to bones? There's one girl with like the spinal problem.
Well, that was the part that I was laughing hysterically at.
Oh,
she has like a calcium deficiency.
Yeah.
She's like a supermodel, and she
Right.
mentions at the beginning of the movie, she looks right at the camera and says, "I have a calcium deficiency."
Yes.
Good morning. What would you like for breakfast?
I'll have the calcium bomb juice drink. I have a calcium deficiency.
So that she's like she turns into like this old hag in the cave, and she holds up a rock and accidentally drops it on herself, and she just turns into a pretzel, and it's hilarious.
Yes, but you have the two lead actors. They have like accents, which gives it this unintentionally funny. I'm sorry.
Well, it has that quality like when we watch a Best of the Worst movie where it's trying to be an American
like
movie.
you're watching an Italian
It feels
film.
like that,
Yes.
even though that's not the case.
Yes, and that was like oddly an odd choice. Unless it was an international movie, from somewhere else.
Maybe
but
it's financed somewhere, who knows?
I don't know, or who those actors were, but they have accents, and that's fine. That's someone has an accent, but it comes off as like that bad low budget movie acting. And then that one guy from Lost, what's his name?
Oh yeah, that guy's performance is like
oh my god.
We have to get the resort people before they leave. I think we will all have to leave this beach. Wait, why? They left already. What happened?
He says his name like 50 times, and now I can't think of it.
Thank you, Doctor. It's Jaron, by the way.
And he's like, and I'm a nurse, and I'm going to do this thing. And I like movies where characters are thrown into like a nightmare situation. They have to problem solve.
Yeah.
It's very like Star Trek-ish. And then there's a weird science fiction element to it where they realize they're in this danger. There's an element that's not really a ticking clock element, but there's something that's, threatening them.
Yeah.
And they have to figure out a way out. So they try to like, what if we walk really slowly through, and they're trying to figure out, and then eventually they just give up. And then the one guy has an illness and it progresses rapidly. It's like an infection, I think.
Yeah.
The little girl grows up and gets pregnant, and they have a baby, and they can't.
Which that's fucking weird.
So every element of every gimmick that you could pull out of it is played. But the acting is so fucking bad.
Yeah.
That it really stands out as.
And you have to credit it to the director, I guess.
Yeah.
Because these people have all been in other things where they're good.
And then there's that one scene where, it's a Twilight Zone-ish, where you get this reveal at the end, and the reveal is clunky.
Because of this beach, we have been able to save hundreds of thousands of lives with new medicines.
Where the guy gives the speech. He's like, we've discovered a cure for this.
Oh, yeah.
And it wouldn't have happened if we didn't have this magical beach. And every tourist group that we sucker into coming on this beach and dying.
Just explains things that everyone in that room would already know.
They would already know. And it's very B-movie.
Yeah.
And so I like the elements of it being a B-movie and the premise. It just had so many elements that were clunky and that a normal audience member would just be like, what? And laugh at.
It's something about that M. Night Shyamalan where it's just, he's a completely unique voice. And it doesn't always work, but it's always awkward and weird. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way.
Yeah.
But God bless him for continuing to do what he does. Another Hulu thing. I watched a movie that was made for Hulu called False Positive that I thought was a joke.
I don't think it's mommy brain. I think Dr. Knoll did something.
I thought the movie was a joke.
Well, that's a good sign.
I don't think it was intentionally. I was so baffled by this movie. It's starring and written by one of the ladies from the show Broad City, who's a comedy person. Alana Glazer, I think her name is. And it's directed by John Lee, who directed Pee-wee's Big Holiday for Netflix, and he did Wonder Chosen.
Hi, can you just look in the camera and say, please don't kill me? Yeah, look in the camera and say, no.
The amazing series Wonder Chosen, if you remember that. So all comedy people, but it's like this serious Rosemary's Baby ripoff, and it's so awkward. And it's shot like a Lifetime movie, like just flat, even lighting. But it's supposed to be this thing where she's like concerned about her baby, and it's exactly Rosemary's Baby.
Okay.
But it looks like a Lifetime movie.
So it's more of an Oregano's Baby? Like, see, that's comedy, right?
That's comedy.
That's what they should have called it.
Yeah. But there was a Lifetime movie a few years ago that was, because those Lifetime movies, they all follow like the same formula. But there was one that was it was a normal Lifetime movie, except it starred Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig.
Yes, I heard of that.
And that was the only, there was no winking, there was no jokes. The only joke was the fact that it was made starring those two. And so I was wondering if that was supposed to be the case with this movie, but I don't think it is. I think it was meant to be a legit horror movie. But for whatever reason, they shot it like a toothpaste commercial. It's so weird.
Okay, fair enough. That's a Hulu movie?
That was a Hulu movie.
Is it under the banner of like the Blumhouse garbage?
No, I don't think they're doing that anymore.
Oh.
The Into the Dark series.
Yeah,
They moved to, now Amazon is doing something with Blumhouse. It's like called Welcome to the Blumhouse. I think it's the same thing though, where they make these cheapo shit movies. But it did feel like that. It felt like one of those Into the Dark Blumhouse movies.
Well, I'm glad you recommended the worst movie you've ever seen. No.
Brilliant.
You mentioned Will Ferrell being in a fake Lifetime movie. Let's talk about The Shrink Next Door.
Are you Marty? Yeah. What brings you here? I don't know. Phyllis made me come. My sister. She must be very persuasive.
It's on Apple Plus, one of the only things on Apple Plus that I've seen.
Every time I see anything from Apple TV Plus, like a trailer or whatever, it always looks like it's fake. It looks like when you'd watch a movie and there's like a fake TV show in the movie. That's what all the Apple TV Plus stuff looks like to me.
Yeah.
Something about it feels off, like it's made by aliens or something.
Shrink Next Door, I have things to say about it. It was interesting.
Oh, this is Will Ferrell. That's the connection.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Will Ferrell and therapist.
I've seen something about
Paul
this.
Rudd plays a therapist.
Okay.
They're in New York City in the 1980s. This is based on a true story. Will Ferrell, and they're both Jewish guys. They're both terrible in it.
Like performances?
Yes, but it's...
Paul Rudd isn't terrible in anything.
So they both come off like they're doing like Woody Allen impressions.
Oh.
Oy vey. And it's really like bad. It's like an SNL skit.
Thea, either you're growing or I'm shrinking. Hey, it's Nick and Tony's, right? Wednesday night. I'm calling you.
And they do old makeup too, because it takes place over like 30 years.
Oh.
They're all Jews in New York City, so they all sound like Woody Allen.
Okay.
The hard part's over. Now it's time to enjoy yourself. No, I know. I just...
His sister is played by Kathryn Hahn. Kathryn Hahn is great in everything that she's in. But she's really good in this. She plays a sister, and she's like, oh God, you're so neurotic. You're like Woody Allen. He's like, I know. And
Is this a series of people doing Woody Allen impressions?
Will Ferrell's, I know, I'm so nervous. And she's like, go see this therapist, okay? Played by Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd in, I don't know if this is his only role where he's ever played a villain. But he instantly recognizes that he can scam this guy. And throughout the course of 30 years, he scams him and other people out of their money.
Okay.
Very slowly and methodically, pretending to be his friend and his therapist, and just slowly over time, like gaslighting him into thinking like they're friends, and that he needs to invest money in this and do all these things to improve his life. And he sees him as a mark. And it's just like the longest con ever. And to the end where Will Ferrell's character becomes like estranged from his family. He doesn't talk to his sister for 25 years.
Oh my God. Is it a comedy? Dark comedy?
I would describe it as a dark comedy.
Okay.
There's nothing really like funny about it. And it's shot like a comedy.
Wow.
But it was based on a podcast, like a true, not true crime, but something like some sort of podcast, and a barely survivable Apple Plus show. Most Apple Plus shows are underwater.
Well, it sounds like
kind of came to the surface a little.
Okay, it sounds kind of like when you talk about like Will Ferrell being sort of oblivious in it. It's like kind of like when you cast like Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love or something, where they're basically playing the same type of character they always do, but it's in a different context. It kind of sounds like that.
Okay. So yeah, that's a good analogy.
That actually makes me curious to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting little story, but it could have been much, 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 much shorter.
Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah.
What else, Jay, could be shorter?
Oh, I saw a film called The Empty Man. That's 2.5 hours long, and it could be much, much shorter.
Hey, wait. We gotta try it.
Try what?
Calling the empty man.
I think I don't even know if we've mentioned it on the show, but I think we've talked about it before, where it's like you see that poster, The Empty Man, and you watch the trailer and it looks like a Slender Man type thing.
Yeah.
And that's not what it is at all.
Okay.
It's one of the more fascinating movies in recent years, because it was the last movie produced by Fox before they were bought out by Disney. So it was made by Fox, but then Disney bought them out, and Disney looked at this thing, and it's this really like creative, very messy movie, really well made by a first-time filmmaker. And Disney looked at it and they're like, what the fuck do we do with this? So they just kind of dumped it onto streaming. And they never even made like a physical release of it. There's no like Blu-ray or anything. But it's not a Slender Man type movie at all. But you watch the trailer and it shows like teenagers on a bridge, and they're like, we got to call the Slender Man. And on day one, he lets you know he's there. Day two, he comes for you, or whatever they say. And so you're like, oh, it's one of those type of movies. But that's just like a part of it. It's really ambitious, and every 20, 30 minutes, it becomes a different movie. The opening 20 minutes is like a perfect short film on its own. And then it becomes the Slender Man type movie with these teenagers. And then it kind of becomes like this procedural with this guy investigating this missing girl. And it turns into like a movie about a cult. It's based on like a graphic novel or something. But it's very messy. At times it doesn't make sense. But it's so ambitious and so well made. And there's sequences in it that are so good. There's like a whole sequence in the movie where the main guy goes to this, what he thinks is an abandoned camp, and he's trying to get clues about this missing girl, and he discovers this cult there, and the cult starts chasing him, and it's really tense and really well done. So it's kind of a movie that just got dumped and nobody has seen it, but it's worth watching. It's too long.
Okay.
So
I don't know if you're totally selling me on it, but maybe I won't watch it.
Okay. Well, speaking of things you shouldn't watch, I also watched a film called Mainstream, starring Andrew Garfield.
Oh, God, you watched that?
This movie is a pile of crap.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for checking out this video.
My little niece worships these guys who do and say nothing.
Yo, why is my existence so lit?
And promote a lifestyle of doing and saying nothing.
Is that where he's the owner of Twitter or something?
It's trying to be a movie. It's made by a Coppola. There's another Coppola. It's Gia Coppola. And it's trying to be like Network, the movie Network, which was satirical in the 70s. It's trying to be that for the YouTube generation. And it feels so out of touch and so bafflingly incorrect about everything related to like social media. And it treats YouTube like TV, where they talk about like your viewership and your subscribers like it's ratings. He's like, our subscribers are going down.
Just spit it out, Mark. We're down about 15% since the last episode. If you don't do something, you will lose more. It's science.
And it's like, I mean, YouTube channels do lose subscribers over time, but there's not like a mass exodus like it would be with like YouTube, with like TV ratings.
Do they say, what are our Nielsen ratings?
No, they don't do that, but it's Jason Schwartzman, because he's related to those Coppolas. He's in it, and he's the one that's kind of like the sleazy producer guy. And Andrew Garfield is kind of like the, I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore, character from Network. Or he's speaking the truth, and they put a camera on him, and he's a crazy person. It's Network, but for YouTube. But they don't understand how YouTube works. And it also has one of the most baffling, incorrect editing mistakes I've ever seen in a mainstream movie. I don't know how this happened, and it's hard to just explain. I have to kind of just show it. But they just flat out have the wrong shot in the movie.
What are you doing?
But she goes out into this alley where he's at, and he's like looking at a newspaper, and she's at the other end of the alley.
A newspaper?
He's looking at a newspaper. He's doing like a comedy thing. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But she's at the other end of the alley, and then it cuts to a close-up of him, and he says something, but it's like he's saying it's not the shot. It's the wrong shot, because she's right next to him. And then it cuts to another shot, and you see her running up to him. And it's like they put the shots in the wrong order. I'm not sure how to explain this without just showing visual evidence of it.
Okay.
But it's completely incorrect.
I understand what you're saying, but yeah.
Yeah. It was so weird. I've never seen, it's not even like, like Martin Scorsese will have continuity errors,
right,
but it works in the flow of the story.
Right.
This is just, it's flat out the incorrect shot in the movie. It's so bizarre. I've never seen that happen before in like any movie. I was gonna say in a mainstream movie, but any movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes they'll you're missing a close up or something, so you use an earlier take, but something like that, it's just like wrong.
It's just completely incorrect. Yeah.
Wow.
And the movie's bad. Our subscribers are plummeting. So stupid.
Do they ever get demonetized or?
No, because they don't understand what YouTube is. They just think it's TV.
You've been age restricted. Oh God! There's something in your video that's age restricting. We don't know what. We're not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah, somewhere in your hour-long video.
Fucking find it and deal with it. We can't help you. Sorry. I'm a robotic algorithm.
That's the realities of working on YouTube, is stuff like that.
You should make a movie like that, Jay, where you're just like clicking, like, oh, fuck.
I'm gonna upload a new version of the video and see if this
For the
one doesn't get
55th
auto-flagged.
time.
So exciting.
Subscribers are going down. Well, I saw a movie called How It Ends. Did you watch this?
No, I saw the trailer and it looked a little too cutesy, a little too precious.
2 a.m. Asteroid hits. I'm gone.
This is all a big hoax. You actually believe the news? The meteor is fake.
She's like walking around with like her child version of herself or
that's
something,
a
right?
pandemic. It's like we want to make a movie during the pandemic.
Okay.
And it's in LA. And it's some woman who's, I don't know who she is, a comedian maybe? I don't know. She made the film. And there's lots of guest stars in it. But they're all like 50 feet apart from each other.
Okay.
It's actually a terrible movie. I don't know why I'm talking about it. I didn't really like it. It's just, I've seen so few movies this year.
Yeah.
But
It's actually a terrible movie.
Oh,
Am I right? Is it like really kind of twee and precious?
Well, the premise is not, there's no pandemic. There's a meteorite going to crash into Earth in like 24 hours. And so that was their premise, and the idea was that the girl has her imaginary younger self with her, you know, and so she's just walking around trying to go somewhere and filming, like not in real life, filming the movie, and it's like all ad-libbed.
Okay.
And none of it works. Like Fred Armisen's in it.
Hey, try to remember me like this.
No, no.
It's a joke.
That's not how you'll die,
No,
is it? No. You'll wait to explode like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Bye, guys. Nice to meet you.
Bye.
They're like ad-libbing, and then she walks here and there, and everyone's standing like 50
it's one of
feet
those
apart.
movies.
Yeah, from one character to the next.
Indie movie where a character wanders around from one person to another.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell.
I can see the whole movie in my head.
Yeah, so you don't need to watch it.
That's great.
Moving on.
Hello.
Hi, hey.
Hi, hello.
Hi. Hey.
Hey.
Hi, baby.
Hey, Liza.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, you.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm John. I stole your car.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. 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 See you, Sal.
Bye, Liza.
We're gonna go.
We're
gonna go.
I'll
Oh,
punch
God.
you in the face. It's like an existential scavenger hunt for your soul.
Real quick, The Night House.
Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide.
The Night House, I liked it. It was pretty good. I was kind of disappointed at the end, I think.
That's like going back to Last Night in Soho, where it was like, it takes way too long for you to know what you're supposed to be scared of or what you're supposed to be invested in as far as the mystery goes. I feel that way about The Night House. But it's carried a long way by Rebecca Hall. Her performance in it is fantastic.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I started to get a little sleepy at the end. And it's kind of like a weird dream of how it ended.
Well, that's the movie. I mean, the movie is very dreamlike, so.
What, she's like a teacher or something? He leaves some clues around. He was building a different house, a duplicate, and somebody was the devil.
The devil
Coming
into
to get
thinking
her.
that a different house
And
was
other
was
women
trying to
performance,
house
it was a
another
pretty good
house
show.
for her
He was
to trying to protect her, right?
What?
Doesn't he
Well, I mean,
shoot?
that's what happens at the movie.
Yeah, I don't remember anything. And then then it ended.
I fell asleep. I just fell down on the ground and slept. I didn't even walk into my bedroom. I just fell down.
Fuck it. I'm done. I'm out. The Night House, everybody.
Hey, that's what these catch-up videos are for. Was it good? It was good.
Yeah.
Then you move on. That's another is pretty good, I guess.
I started to fall asleep during the end, and then I stood up and fell down. I fell asleep on the floor.
Because I physically couldn't move.
The Night House. 1 star, whatever.
Or 5 maybe.
Or
yeah.
5, I don't know. Something about devils and houses and murder and suicide and evil and a spookiness.
No, I thought it was very good. I just thought it took too long to start giving you information.
Yeah.
A lot of moody, atmospheric stuff early on. Went a little too far before they started introducing more story elements.
Ah, fuck it. I'm done.
The Night House. Rated R.
I
saw The French Dispatch.
Oh, God.
Wes Anderson's new film.
Oh, my God.
What is that reaction?
You know, I love Wes Anderson movies, but when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, nope.
Why? What about it? Because it looked like a Wes Anderson movie?
It looked like a Wes Anderson movie on crack.
It began as a holiday. Eager to escape a bright future on the Great Plains, Arthur Howitzer Jr. transformed the series of travelogue columns into The French Dispatch.
I
was like, no.
I feel like that's what everybody says about every new Wes Anderson movie. People say, it looks like a parody of Wes Anderson movies. All that means, and maybe I've said it in the past, I don't even know, but all it means is that he has a distinct style in all of his movies.
Has a distinct style is the understatement of the century.
Sure, and that's fine.
I mean, I agree with that, but there's something about having a distinct style and making the same fucking movie over and over again, which to me, I didn't see it. It could be great. I've liked all of his movies, but
this is like not one of his better movies, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's enjoyable.
Like
it feels lighter, even though there's dark, because his movies always have kind of darker undertones.
Right.
And this does too, but it's an anthology. It's basically 3 kind of short stories, and so you don't have as much time to latch on to anything that's happening in it. And it's under the framework of The French Dispatch, is like this magazine.
Right.
So these are 3 stories that were written for the magazine. First one is Benicio del Toro is in a prison. He's a painter. He's an artist. There's some fun kind of commentary on the art world. I like that story a lot. The middle one is Timothy Chalamet, and that's kind of forgettable.
Something with Bill Murray?
Well, he's in the wraparound stuff. He works at the paper. But
Frances McDormand?
Frances McDormand's in it, yeah. Timothy Chalamet's sleeping with her.
Wait. Is Owen Wilson in it?
Everybody's in it.
Wait, is Jason Schwartzman in it?
This does push, because he's kind of, I like his earlier movies better because they still feel like one foot is in reality.
Yeah.
The longer he's gone on, the more intentionally artificial they've all kind of felt, which has its charm too, but this one pushes it the furthest of any of his movies.
A movie I really liked of his was that Train movie. No one ever talks about that Train movie.
Darjeeling Limited.
The Darjeeling Limited. That was great. It's like 3 brothers are trying to find their mother.
Yeah,
and
that had really strong characters.
It felt like a movie. It wasn't like too Wes Anderson-y.
Well, it was, but it still had that. I mean, all of his movies have kind of an emotional connection, but this one really pushed the visual style where like it felt like a stage play. I mean, there's parts where you see like the set break apart as the camera goes in. So it's like you may be pushing it too far for people. But then it'll also have like super sophomoric, slapstick occasionally.
The dangerous accidents, the constant traffic, the high...
It is like middle of the road Wes Anderson, which is still watchable and enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. He has a very, very, very distinct style. All of his movies are smart. They're good. I think, I was like, I'm done. I loved it, but I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I've got it. I've seen enough. I'm happy. I can go back and watch Life Aquatic or
Life Aquatic's great.
A lot of the really good ones, but it's like, make a Marvel movie now, Wes Anderson. Just do something different.
I would like to see him do something drastically different.
Yeah. I'm not going to be that couch potato that tells an artist what to do, but go make Ant-Man and the Wasp Part 2. Like, do something like really challenging and don't. It's almost like
keep your style, but put it in a different type of movie.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. there are directors that go outside of their comfort zone and try something different. And Wes Anderson doesn't seem to do that. And that's why when I watched the trailer for The French Dispatch, I was like, oh my God, no.
Well, it's one of those where it's like, oh, I've already seen this movie in my head.
Right.
It's a decent movie, but it does have that like, well, I feel like I've already seen it.
I don't want to, I don't know.
In a way, his movies are sort of like Marvel movies, where now they're so like, well, I'm sure it's good, but I've already seen it.
Right, like the Spider-Man
He's
movies.
like the art house Marvel movies.
Don't cry in my office.
You know what's funny? I was going to mention this. Remember Boa Stricter or whatever with Eric Roberts?
Yeah.
Like when that new Spider-Man movie came out. This is my point. Far From Home?
That was the last one.
Okay. Home Sweet Home? Home Alone Again?
Home Sweet Home Alone.
What's the new one called? Home Again? Home...
What is it called? I legit don't know.
Okay, but...
It's something home.
So Voodoo the day that fucking new Spider-Man movie came out, Voodoo puts the last Spider-Man movie up for rent, you know?
Yeah.
And the posters look all the same.
Yeah.
They all look the same, and they all have home in the title. Mm-hmm. And so it's like a trick, like, oh, the new Spider-Man rent. Wait a minute, we've seen this, you know. And so it's like a trick.
Mm-hmm. No Way Home. That's what it's called. Okay. That's a weird motif, too. They're all going to have home in the title. Like, why is that your gimmick for the Spider-Man movies? It's really weird.
Yeah, it is weird, and it's confusing.
And it's confusing, yeah.
And so that's what makes me, like, I'm just like, I don't know.
And now you look at posters for Wes Anderson movies, and it's kind of the same reaction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point I'm making, is like, I don't know. I skipped the last two Spider-Man movies. Same with all those Marvel TV series. I'm done. Mm-hmm. Someone posted a clip of that new Boba Fett show on the internet, on Twitter.
Oh.
And it was embarrassing. And it was that actor Tamu Morrison.
The Boba Fett guy, yeah.
Yeah, who played Jango Fett.
Yeah.
But now he's playing Boba Fett, and I argued that it should have been young Boba Fett.
Logan, right?
He should be Boba Fett, but they have Tamura Morrison because he's the clone, so he looks like Boba, but he's like...
he's old and fat.
He's like, Boba Fett was a skinny ass guy in Empire Strikes, and Boba Fett in this he's like 300 pounds.
Yeah,
and he doesn't look anything like Boba Fett. And there's this action scene they posted, and these guys have these like laser shields, and they're like attacking him, and he's like, and it's like really slow and awkward, and they're like, this looks like crap.
That's when I was like, I'm done with all this stuff on the second season of Mandalorian, which you didn't even watch that, right? The second season?
What's The Mandalorian?
Oh, it's a TV show that's Star Wars. The second season, but he's in that too. That was
was the second season when Luke Skywalker shows up at the end, right? Yeah, I didn't watch any of the second season.
But Boba Fett's in that too, because that entire season was just a setup for future Disney Plus shows, basically.
Yeah.
But there's an episode where he's just dressed normally, but then he puts on the Boba Fett armor, and there's an action scene. But he's old and fat. He's wearing the armor, and he looks silly.
Boba Fett was scrawny. Jeremy Bollocks was scrawny. He was a skinny British man. He was just like a mannequin.
Yeah.
That's all they needed, was just someone to wear that costume.
Because Boba Fett wasn't a character?
Because Boba Fett was just a plot device, essentially. Someone's chasing down Han Solo.
Yeah.
We need somebody to chase Han Solo. Well, I got a bunch of costume parts. That's it. And now he's this epic, whatever. Fuck it all. I don't know, we glossed over our Marvel shows. I haven't watched any of that shit. Loki's.
WandaVision was good.
I watched WandaVision. That was interesting. It was different. And then Captain Falcon and something, and then something else came out.
Don't care. Now it's Hawkeye. That's the new
Hawkeye,
one.
yeah. Hawkeye, Jeremy Irons and his daughter.
I feel like WandaVision kind of caught on in a way where like people that aren't super into the Marvel stuff were watching it and interested in it.
Well, it was the first.
And it was the first, so maybe that's it.
And then now
But
it's
then all
just-
the other shows, no one really cares
Yeah, now
about,
it's just too much.
other than like the diehards.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I gravitate more towards. I like the Marvel stuff in a condensed movie once a year.
Sure.
I don't want to watch a show, and same with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think I gravitate more towards mature themed adult character drama stuff. Maybe because I'm a grown up. You know.
That's why I watched Bad Trip.
That's a one. Comedy's an exception. But I don't care about Marvel stuff anymore or Star Wars stuff. They're just digging their own grave deeper and deeper.
I wouldn't go that far. Their new Spider-Man movie is like the third highest grossing movie of all time or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I think
it still has an audience. I think with that movie though, it's
kids.
The novelty of that too, but also the fact that they brought back all the old characters. It's like they're covering all their bases.
Oh, when I said digging a grave, they're digging their own grave. I thought of that first episode of Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories.
Get in the hole, Murph.
Dennis, get in the hole.
Honey.
That's not a 2021 show.
Anyways, but you know what it is? It's a segue.
Oh, okay.
Into Beef House.
Beef boys, beef boys, beef boys, beef boys, beef boys. Deuces and twos are wild.
Nothing beats game night at the Beef House.
Borlo's gonna become a permanent member of the Beef House.
Oh, yes.
I watch Beef House. It's excellent, but it's done, I think.
God damn, Ben. Man, don't be sitting around down here watching that VR porn shit. Take that shit up to your room, God damn it.
I tried to watch the ding-dong porn, but it's not working.
Let me take a look at that shit.
One and done, as they say.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with that premise, because Beef House is sort of a parody of like Full House type
It's
sitcoms.
a sitcom parody. Yeah. But it's just Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim live in a house. Eric Wareheim has a wife, but all these random weird men live in the house too. And it's called the Beef House. Beef. And it's like, I don't know, they're like 11 minutes long. It's just like a whatchamacallit, Adult Swim thing.
Yeah.
So I think there's like 6, 7, 8 episodes, but I don't know.
I only saw the one with excessive diarrhea.
Yes.
That's the one I saw. It was good.
Right. And you're not into that. I mean, not
No,
into
I am. I haven't watched the rest of it
If it was projectile vomit, you would be laughing your ass off. I was the one laughing my ass off because it was projectile diarrhea.
Oh God, the force of the diarrhea tore right through my trousers. Oh my God, I keep shitting. I can't stop shitting. Oh my God, I'm literally shitting on Star Wars.
Well, the whole premise of that episode where they're running a hose to the hot tub so he can have diarrhea in the hot tub and the girl won't notice.
The girl's like an old lady.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
It's his hot date in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you? Right now, I have a tube coming out of my ass and out of your hot tub back to the Beef House and into a toilet.
That like satirical like parody of a sitcom.
Taking those like tired sitcom conventions.
And just
perverting them.
Yeah. But like you said, as a long running series, it will run out of steam.
Very cool.
It could be like an episode of like the Tim and Eric show where you just have a Beef House one and then you cut the next episode of something else.
Yeah.
It needs to be something like that, but and it's probably inaccessible to other people. But that's why I like Bedtime Stories, because it was anthology. Everyone was different.
Yeah, those were good.
And they were.
I mean, obviously, Beef House is meant to look like a sitcom. The nice thing about Bedtime Stories is it felt sort of cinematic.
Correct.
Very visual.
Correct.
It was good. I liked Bedtime Stories.
Sleep.
What are you telling me? What should I talk about now?
What?
What are you telling me to do? Someone's in my earpiece. What? What? Talk about my favorite show of the year? Okay.
He's not wearing an earpiece. It's not American Horror Story, is it?
No.
Okay, good.
I did watch. You watched it. We watched American Horror Story.
I did.
We watched it together.
Well, we didn't, but
because it was broken up into 2 parts.
I think that was a pandemic thing.
Yeah.
Where they broke it up into 2 different stories just to reduce how much time they had with everybody.
Right.
Because I know pre-pandemic it was supposed to have some different actors in it than it ended up having.
You watched it. You hate American Horror Story.
I'm on record as saying I don't like American Horror Story at all.
You're a man that loves horror stuff and schlock. I don't get why you don't like it.
It's every season starts okay, and then they just keep introducing more and more stuff, and it gets so convoluted that it's not funny to me anymore. And it's just kind of annoying.
I would describe American Horror Story seasons as gaudy and embarrassing, but enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, they're intentionally campy, and I get that, but I don't know, it's a type of camp that usually doesn't work for me, but I watched the new season because Mac was going to be on it, and I enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed it until that story ended, and then the second story started with aliens, and I watched 2 episodes, and I said, oh, this is the show I hate.
First, you jack off at the same time, but in the dark, and then you just start doing it together, and before you know it, you're late for your Great Thinkers of Enlightenment class because you have your best friend's in your
I'm not watching more of this.
Yeah, the first half was good.
It was like a campier, goofier version of a Midnight Mass, where it kind of felt very Stephen King-like,
right.
Much like Midnight Mass.
Yes, the writer goes to the East Coast, Provincetown? Somewhere on the coast, and it's this little
sleepy seaside town.
Sleepy seaside community, and he wants to write a book, but he takes a magic pill that gives him creative inspiration, but at a cost.
I think that it benefited from splitting the season into 2 different stories, because it didn't give him enough time to have it go on for so long that they ruin it.
Francis Conroy and Evan Peters play, I think they're both writers, and they're there, but they take this magic pill, you become really good at your talent, if you have talent, but you need to drink blood like a vampire. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have talent, you turn into Nosferatu.
If you don't have talent and you take the pill, then it turns you into a low-level vampire. It's such a weird concept that it was fun.
The town is kind of aware of it. They look the other way. But there's a new sheriff, and she doesn't know about it, but then she dies and no one questions anything. And then it just, then it ended. The ending was terrible. I was expecting her to...
Again, that might be a pandemic thing. Where they had a great concept, they didn't fill it with convoluted bullshit, but then it also didn't have a satisfying ending.
No, the agent...
Everything leading up to it was good.
Yeah, the horrible agent lady just ends up back in L.A. and spreads the pill around there, and they just seem to wrap it up. And then it's even worse with the alien one.
I didn't even finish it.
It just ends. There's literally no ending.
That must be pandemic related.
It was really weird. Huh. It was you had these kind of awful young characters that were annoying, and then it would cut from that to the past.
Yeah.
I don't know, Harry Truman and Richard Nixon, and they were making the deal with the aliens. And the aliens would blow people's heads up. And then it just ended. There was literally no story arc. It was really bizarre.
Weird.
Everyone just blew up.
So you're saying I missed out by not finishing it?
You made a wise choice not to finish it.
Okay. That's my usual reaction to American Horror Story. I watched the first couple episodes, I'm out.
Right.
So the second half of the season, which is a shame because I actually enjoyed for the most part, the first story, the Mac story.
Yeah, it was good up until
up until the ending.
How they finished it.
Yeah.
I wanted Lily Rabe to recover from being a Nosferatu and get revenge and reclaim her family, a movie, a story.
Reestablish characters, and then they go through a journey throughout the story.
Right. Yes. It was the story of her family. Mm-hmm. She lost her husband and her daughter to this vampire pill, and they became awful. And they weren't awful, and she needed to rescue them and reclaim I mean, I know it's a horror movie and it can have a dark ending, but it had like a weird ending.
Yeah, an unsatisfying.
Unsatisfying.
Ending, yeah.
It's just like, oh, now it's spread over here, whatever. Leave. Shut off the TV. Fuck off. It's like, okay, but like you said, we don't know what happened with the production or what they could and couldn't film. Maybe they had to leave that town. They couldn't, wherever they were filming, they couldn't film there anymore. Oh, let's just shoot the ending in front of our studio in LA. Something happened and get a bunch of extras as zombies. Just film it real quick and fuck it. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Mrs. Eisenhower.
Lastly, my favorite show is called Ghosts.
Is this a Zach Baggins production?
No.
Do these ghosts have adventures?
I mean, what sort of moron believes in ghosts?
You are a ghost.
Well, yeah, but, before I became one, you wouldn't have caught me believing in this sort of nonsense.
Every show that I've watched, most of them I will never go back and watch in my whole life. Because you can't just pluck a random episode from them and watch it.
Yeah.
You have to start at the beginning and you have to go through the whole fucking storyline. Whether it's, prestige television or like a limited series based on a book that's 10, one of those things. This is a straight up classic sitcom. This girl and this guy live in this dumpy apartment and she discovers that her wealthy relative, this old lady, lives in a mansion and has died. So it's a show about these ghosts that are stuck. They're from all different time periods.
That's kind of the first season of American Horror Story, right?
Yeah. But there, there's like, but this is the twist. I'll get you the twist. So the girl goes to this house, and she accidentally falls out a window and hits her head and dies for a minute, but is brought back to life, and that gives her the ability to see and interact with the ghosts when her boyfriend can't.
Okay.
And so that's your comic setup. You have 8 or so ghosts going back to cave. There's a caveman ghost going all the way to like a modern day ghost.
That's also kind of what we do in the shadows, right? There's like vampires from different areas. Yeah.
But so I watched a couple episodes and I'm like, this is okay. It's kind of lame. And then I was watching the American version, and then I realized that it started off as a British show, like The Office.
Okay.
So I went and watched the British show, billion times better. The American show's not good. The British version, hilarious and great.
I can assure you that there are no ghosts. Ghost. Theirs is no ghost.
The Ghosts are back on BBC One and iPlayer.
What's your last pick? What's your last movie you want to talk about, Jay?
Oh, well, let's end our 2021 special on a disgusting pervert film. I saw Titane, or Titane. It's a French movie. It's about a woman that fucks a car and gets impregnated by the car.
Are you a bunch of car fuckers?
Yeah, we're car fuckers, so what?
And that's just the kickoff. It's actually really good. I was surprised. I assumed it's a French director. Her last movie was called Raw. It's about a girl
cannibal movie.
Yeah, a girl goes to college and experiments with cannibalism. And I heard that this movie has some kind of extreme stuff, so I was prepared for that, but that's just kind of the setup. And then the actual story becomes a lot more kind of emotional and touching than you would expect from a movie about a woman that fucks a car.
And yes, the automobile was originally developed for the purposes of fucking.
It kind of becomes about, because she's trying all these different things, like she dabbles in being a lesbian and she murders people and she fucks a car.
You should be ashamed of yourselves. Why? Oh, no reason. Just that you're car fuckers.
She's trying to find herself, basically.
How does she fuck a car?
It's very vague. You don't. They keep it very vague and artsy. It's very tastefully done when she fucks the car.
Okay.
We're only guilty of a love for which there is no name. Oh, there's a name actually. It's called car fucking.
thinking like a gear shift or
I don't know.
Tailpipe. My mind's
She's
going
inside the car, but
Okay.
that's all you really know.
Okay.
The details of it is
Hopefully it's not the cigarette lighter. My mind's trying to figure it out. But if you say it's artsy and vague, I'll accept that.
Okay. But she has a definite kind of attraction to automobiles and metal. When she was a little kid, she was in a car accident, and they had to put a metal plate in her head. So she has like this giant scar behind her ear. But she murders some people, and then she has to go into hiding to get away from the cops. So she disguises herself as a boy and introduces herself to the chief of this fire station who lost his son like 10 years earlier. She says, "Hey, I'm your son. I've come back." And she is now disguised as her son, but there's a ticking clock element because she's impregnated by the car. So her belly's getting bigger. Apparently, when you're impregnated by a car, it happens at a different rate than a human pregnancy. It's not 9 months.
Okay.
So eventually her cover is going to be blown, that she's not actually this man's son that's come back after 10 years.
She's going to give birth to a transformer?
Get out of here!
But it becomes this thing, it's not just like weirdness. Like it becomes this thing about like trying to find yourself and accepting other people. Everyone around him is like, this is absurd. That's clearly not your son. And so it becomes a thing of like, does he know? Does he just want his son to be
Live
back?
the fantasy.
Yeah. And the girl trying to find her place in the worlds, and surprisingly artful for a film about a woman that gets impregnated by a car.
Okay.
One of my favorites of last year.
All right.
Yeah, really well done. Not for everyone, obviously. It's very fucking weird, but...
Okay. Was it disturbing or perverted or shocking?
It has some kind of extreme moments. Not as many as I was expecting. Like I said, it starts off, that's where all the really crazy stuff happens. And then when it settles into this story between this woman pretending to be a man and the fireman, it has kind of a heart to it.
More heartwarming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it takes this awful, awful person, who the main character is, and portrays her in a way that kind of, gives some empathy. A little bit of body horror, a little bit of, what was it, the David Cronenberg movie, Crash, right? Where people are turned on by car accidents.
Right.
A little bit of that in there.
Okay. Yeah. So a little bit of everything. Just a little bit of everything. A little bit of Miracle on 34th Street. A little bit.
Wizard of Oz.
A little bit of Wizard of Oz in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jay, what will 2022 bring us?
Oh, hopefully more delays, more things being dumped on streaming, more Marvel shows I won't watch. There's so much to not look forward to.
Oh, shit. I gotta go get my COVID test. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I edited it out of the video, but he's been coughing after like every sentence.